All right, good day, everybody. Wherever you are, I'm so happy and I'm so excited to be bringing this to you. It's a very, very big package from CMRC, Creative Mind Real Concept. And I'm most privileged to be the innovator, the initiator of this program. It is a very, very big success to bring this to you. Free Success Project 2025. And this year, I am so happy. We have amazing facilitators, persons who are selfless, who are passionate, who are explicit in every ramification of their discipline, and they will blow your mind. So I want you to keep your tabs and start watching these videos and get excellent results and come back to tell us, and we'll rejoice with you. God bless you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Oladele, and first of all, I see this as a great privilege to be doing this. I love this. I love to do it, and I thank the organizers for this privilege. But without wasting much time, I'd like to quickly tell you something about English language. English language is what you use every day, and I like the subject that UTM uses. They says use of English. So you use English language every day, but not many people use it well. Now I'm here to tell you that to use English language, there are two main topics that help you even beyond UTME. We have the tenses of English and we have the subject verb agreement, because these are basically the things you use in your speech aside spoken English. I'm saying that once you have good understanding of tenses and their usages, you can speak simple and correct English. And once you know how to let your subject connect with your verb, you can also speak well, correctly, fluently, impeccably, with so much confidence. So let's quickly dive into all of this. We have basically, there are two tenses in English. Basically, there are two tenses in English, while other forms of tenses build on these two tenses. We have the present tense and we have the past tense. Why we might talk about the future tense, but I want to say that the future tense builds on the present tense. For instance, you have come. Come is a present tense. If you want to form your future tense from come, you would have a module will plus that's come, which is will come. You can see that we have a compound verb like that. So basically, we have two major tenses in English language. But we can't just deal with these two. We have to talk about all of them. Where this video is too short to cover the tenses and the usages they have. We would spend like, let's say 2 hours if I really want to give you the details of all of this. That's why I'll just give you the headway to this and you just go deep and much deeper in your reading of English and their tenses. But I will really talk about those two I talked about, the present tense and the past tense. What do we use the present tense for? We have several uses of the present tense, but for UTME level, I'll just give you like three. The present tense is used to talk about an habitual action. That is habitual, that is something you do every day, something you do daily. You did it yesterday, you do it today, you do it tomorrow. For instance, I sing solo in church. That's something you do every day. I sing solo. You won't say I sang solo. No, you won't do that. So you use present tense for that. What other use of present tense do we have? Use the present tense to talk about proverbial sayings. You talk about um, historic present. There is something called historic present. That is when you are trying to summarize a literary text, even the Bible, you use the present tense. You won't say the Bible said. You don't say the Bible said. Why? Because you have to use present tense for that. You say the Bible says. As a matter of fact, if your pastor says the Bible said, I'd advise you leave that church. I was joking. The Bible says that's the correct thing, because one of the use of present tense is you use it for historic present. Yes, to not waste much of our time, we have more details on the past tense. So let me quickly go into it. What do you use the past tense for? You use the past tense to talk about. Obviously, something you did, like, let's say a minute ago, you know, I jumped here few seconds ago. I jumped here a few seconds ago. So that action has been completed. It's done. So you use the past tense for it. What are some specific uses? Some some uses that are not conventional that you use past tense for. For instance, when you have this phrase, when in a sentence like you have I time, or just time, or just time. You want to say it is time I dash somewhere, or it is time I dash serious, or it is I time I dash serious. You can find a question like that in JAMB, in your question, and they say it is I time I dash serious, and then you have become, you have became, you have become. You understand? So you can say it is I time I became serious. So we use past tense, the past tense form of the verb to align with this phrase I time. So I time plus past past tense, like it is I time we prayed. If you say it is high time we prayed, you are saying, let us pray. It's just as simple as saying, let us pray. But you have to follow rules in English language if you want to be correct. So that is that about that. And also use the past tense uh, use past tense with would rather. When you are trying to make a piece of advice, you're trying to give a piece of advice, you use the past tense with would rather. What do I mean by would rather? Look at this. Let's say I want to advise um, I want to advise maybe Johnson. I want to advise Johnson to prepare harder for this UTM that is coming up. I can just say, Johnson, I would rather, I would rather, I would rather you dash, let me use better. Maybe he probably failed JAMB last year, so let me use better. I would rather you dash better this year. And you have the options like do, did, or let's say prepare, prepared. You understand? So that rule says you use past tense with would rather. With would rather when you're giving a piece of advice. So what I'm saying is you say, Johnson, I would rather you prepared better. So past tense is used for that also. I would rather you prepared. It might not sound okay to you, but grammar is not about sounding okay or sounding sweet. It just has to sound correct. If it is correct, that's all. So I would rather you prepared better this year. So that is some really unconventional uses of the past tense that you need to be mindful of when you are answering your questions under tenses. And also, I'll quickly chip this in under tenses also, because the most important part of a sentence is the verb. That's why there are always questions on verbs and its usages and all of that. So let's come back to tenses now. There's something we call tense sequence. Tense sequence. Have you heard somebody speak to you in this format? He said he will come. He said he will come. Can you see that? To you, that might sound okay, but your tenses are not in sequential order. If you say he said he will come, why? Because your first clause has past tense, and in the following clause you have the present tense. So that would be wrong. He said he would come. You see, that's what called tense sequence. You let your tenses align. If you use a present tense in this clause, then the next clause should also be a what? Should also be in present form. That is what we're talking about. And there are some like that. For instance, just like I said, he said he would come. Don't make a mistake of saying he said he would come. Now, don't make the mistake of saying he said he will. You understand? That there is no tense sequence in that your sentence, and that might turn out to be wrong for you. Where would we normally have this is in the past perfect tense. Past perfect tense. Let me give you the form of past perfect tense. You have How is the past perfect tense formed? That is formed. It's formed by adding the have, the past form of have auxiliary with a verb in its past participle form. The past form of have auxiliary. Let me list the have auxiliary for you. We have, let's come here, have auxiliary. Have auxiliary, and there are just three. We have the have, we have the as, and we have the had. This is have auxiliary. We have just three of them. Have, as, had. This is the plural form, the singular, and the past form. We are saying that you have the past form of have auxiliary with a verb in its past participle form. For instance, go. Look at go is the present tense. The past of go is what? Is what? Yes, you're correct. Went. What about the past participle form of go? Did you say gone? Yes, that's correct. So we have gone. That's past participle form of go. Now, when you have the past form of this, which is had, plus that past participle form of go, which is gone, had gone. This is past perfect tense. This is past perfect tense. Now, how do you use the past perfect tense? This is so much concerned with tense sequence because some don't understand it and they just speak, they just use this tense wrongly. Let me give you a sentence. Um, he had gone. He had gone home. Look at this. He had gone home. Now, that sentence is incomplete because the rule regarding past perfect tense usage says that when you have past perfect tense, there has to be a clause containing a past tense in it after that past perfect tense clause. That is, I'm saying you can't just leave it at he had gone home. He had gone home. There has to be another action which had already been completed when you use past perfect tense. So you say he had gone home when we arrived. He had gone home when we arrived. So listen to the tenses used there. He had gone home, not when we arrived, when we arrived. So these are the places that where they check for tense sequence. Tense sequence. That is, the rule that goes with that past perfect tense. When you have past perfect tense, be sure that you use a clause that contains the past tense after the clause containing past perfect tense. That is, he had gone on before we got there, not before we get there. Please be mindful of that in your questions. Don't ever forget that. And when you keep these rules in your everyday use of English, you would realize how good and better you can be at English language. It's very, very simple. It's about following the rule, knowing the rule and following it, and that's sort of all of this. If I remember any other thing, other things, I'll quickly get to it. But before we leave this first stage of this first lesson, I'll quickly talk about some rules on subject-verb agreement, which might not be common. And because I've checked questions, they often ask questions on these things, subject-verb agreements, tenses, and all of that. So quickly, you know what called subject-verb agreement? That's concord. That's the modern term for it. Concord. That is your subject agreeing with your verb in sentences, in your expressions. Now, the basic rule says the simple present tense, the singular subject goes with singular verb. He sleeps here. He sleeps here. He, singular, plus the verb sleeps. You see that? Then the plural subject goes with plural verb. They sleep here. They sleep here. This one is the basic rule of Concord. Everybody has to know this. So you don't go about saying, my friend go home. My friend go home at 2 p.m. You don't go about saying that. That would be wrong because the basic rule, the foundation of this topic is that singular subject goes with singular verb, plural subject goes with plural verb, which I've given you examples. Now, I'd like to continue with those ones that I said are like exceptional. Now, look at this. We have said that plural subject goes with plural verb, singular subject goes with singular verb. What about this? Look at this look at this expression quickly. Look at this expression quickly. These sentences, I would say sentences. Look at this. God bless you. That's one. And then number two, God humbles the proud. Look at this. God bless you. God humbles the proud. And we've said singular subject follows singular verb. Plural subject follows plural verb. Now we have God, which is singular. God is singular. We have bless. Bless, is it singular or plural? Is it singular verb or plural verb? Is a plural verb. And then this. Then we now have God humbles the proud. Singular subject, singular verb. Why? Will you agree with me that this is correct? This is also correct? Is this correct? Is this correct? While you're thinking, because we don't have time, I'll quickly tell you that God bless you, though we have singular subject plus a plural verb, is correct. And this, God humbles the proud, is also correct. I'll give you why. This, there are some exceptions to rules. We have exceptions to some. English might say this now with one rule, and there can be 1,000 exceptions to that particular rule. For instance, now, I is singular, but we don't understand why it goes with plural main verb, like I come. I is also singular, like he. We have exceptions to a lot of things, but just get things right, and you are good to go. That rule gives an exception to the fact that when you have prayers, suggestions, advice, um, just this. Let me quickly keep it at that. When you have prayers, suggestion, advice, even command, yes, you use the plural form of the verb without subject. That's why this one is God bless you. Now, the cheat behind that is this sentence in full is not this. There has been an omission. There has been an ellipsis of a modal verb in this expression, which is the full of this is God will bless you. God will bless you. So this is prayer. So that is why when we ellipse or when we delete that will, when we omit that will, this has to remain blessed. Do you get the same thing goes with I suggest, I suggest, I suggest she dash now. I suggest she dash now. We have live and we have lives. Don't forget I said that the exception to the rule of singular subject, singular verb goes to prayer, suggestion, advice, command, and all of this, right? Because they usually have the ellipsis or the deletion or the omission of the modal auxiliary verb will or should or whatever. Do you get it now? So just like I told you, we have God will bless you here, but shortened to form God bless you. That's what makes it correct, prayer. That's what makes it, because it's in the form of prayer. But this, God humbles the prayer. This is just a normal sentence. This is not a prayer. This is not this is not a prayer. This is a normal sentence that has to follow that basic rule of singular subject, singular verb. But this is a prayer. That's why it's different. Now look at this one. I suggest she dash now, and we have the option as leave or leaves. What would the answer be? Is it going to be I suggest she leaves now, or I suggest she leave now? If you remember the rule I gave you, I told you is knowing the rule and applying it. The rule says we are going to use plural form of verb for suggestion. So that means I suggest she leave now is the correct thing, not I suggest she leaves now. Why? Because the full of this, like I said, the omission of modal verb is I suggest she should leave now. You see that? I suggest she should leave now. So that is why we are saying that when you come to English and you learn this rule, apply them. Apply them. Read more for exceptions. Do you get it now? So that's just that about the exception on the basic rules of English language or of subject verb agreement. Now let me give you some other rules. We have the rule regarding the use of indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns like everyone, something, all, something, none, right? All this, the rule says an indefinite pronoun takes singular verb. Know this rule and you'll be fine. an indefinite pronoun takes singular verb. So we have everything as an indefinite pronoun. Remember, go and read more on indefinite pronouns so that you understand how to use them with your verbs. Read more on them. I can't give you everything in this short video. We have everything. Everything. We have everyone. We have everyone. We have all. We have all. We have all. Why I wrote all is because I'm going to give you an exception to this. So these exceptions are what make you extraordinary. They are what make you better than the rest. Now we have everything. Thinking about it, everything looks plural to you. It looks like many things to you, like right? But the rule says everything, everyone, some other indefinite pronouns, they take what? They take singular nouns, singular verbs. So everything is fine. Not everything are fine. No matter how much you want to pluralize everything, it is everything is fine. Don't say everything are. No, that's the rule. Follow it. Everyone loves money. Everyone loves. Everyone loves money. Everyone loves money. Now you see that everyone looks like all the people, or means it looks like it's more than one. But the rule says when you have indefinite pronouns, use what? You use a singular verb. So that's why it is everyone loves money, and not everyone love. So when you see something like this, you use a singular verb. Now look at all. All is also an indefinite pronoun, but there's an exception to the use of all. When you find this in your question, all can mean two things. All can mean two things. All can mean everything. All can mean what? Everything, or all can mean all the people. All can mean everything, or all can mean all the people. Now, when all is used to mean everything, you use a singular verb. Like saying, all is well. Look at that. All is well. Don't forget I said all can mean two things. When it is used to mean everything, referring to things. So we assume that all there means everything. So when you say all is well, all here means everything is well. But in some other cases, all can be used to talk about people. All can be talk about people. When all is talking about people, he's talking about all the people. So a plural verb will be used in that case. So you say all dash gathered. All dash gathered in the church. In the church. All dash gathered in the church. Now, here you know that all doesn't mean everything. All here means all the people, or all the congregants. Yeah? So, all dash gathered in the church, and you have, as. What would your answer be? Definitely, because all here means all the people. So it means the answer is all have gathered in the church. All have gathered in. So all here, when it is used to mean all the people, you use a plural verb. When all is used to mean everything, you use a singular verb for that. So that's basically that's about all of this. Now let's come to the part of none. So taking one and none, right? Look at this. We have, let me quickly clear this up so you can see very, very clearly. We have, because this usually confuses people, confuses students, because they tend to lose touch of that truth. We are going to say one of this, they call it one of Concord. One of Concord. But this one of also goes with none also. None. The rule says when one is taken out of many, right, the verb agrees with this one and agrees with this none. What do I mean? Look at this sentence. This should explain it much better. One of my friends, one of my friends dash sick. one of my friends dash sick, and you have her, and you have is. One of my friends dash sick. So look at this sentence. One here is, I don't start talking to you about noun phrase, the head word, all of that. No, let's not delve into all of that. Now, one of my friends dash sick. This is one. This whole structure is talking about one. This is the head word, the important word in this structure, one. So this will determine our verb. It is one of my friends is sick, because one is what determines our verb. So it is one of my friends is sick. Or you can say none of my friends is sick. None of my friends is sick. Excuse me, sorry. Now, what about when this is mixed with a relativizer? What am I relativizer? Well, I'm talking about the relative pronoun. Who, that, which, because we can have a longer sentence. Now, look at this. You just have to be smarter than the question so that you don't get yourself confused. Look at this. We have one of the women who dash year dash been arrested. One of the women who dash here dash been arrested. You can see there's a verb here. There has to be a verb here. There has to be a verb here. Now listen. This is the rule concerning relativizer. I will call it relative concord. Now, who here is our relative what? Our relative pronoun. Who? Remember relative pronouns? Go and read that up. We have relative pronouns. We have who, that, which, all of those ones. Now, look at this. For this first verb, it is the noun behind who that determines this first verb here. The noun behind who that determines the first verb here. Why this one determines the verb here. So when you say one of the women who dash here dash been arrested, and we have our option as live, L-I-V-E, or lives. We have so because of our time, one of the women who live, it will be who live here has been arrested. Why? Because I told you the noun behind this relative pronoun determines the first verb here. Why this particular word, one, determines the next verb. It's just it's like you're saying the women who live here, one of them has been arrested. So that's how you get smarter than the question that you're asked once you know how to maneuver your way around Concord and its rules. So don't let this confuse you. Then I'll give you two more rules, and then I leave this topic. Let's teach you another thing later in this video. We have many a Concord. Many a Concord. Have you seen a sentence like many a boy, or many a school, many a teacher, many a man, many a man? When you have many a boy, a boy dash me money. Many a boy. What comes to your mind? You see many, then you see a boy. First of all, you think this is not correct, but that's how it is. You can't, language is conventional. This is how we've been given. Now, many a boy dash me money. The rule concerning many a concord says that when you have many a, of course, a singular noun comes after the many a. That is, this boy is not. We are not saying many a boys or many. Many a here takes a singular noun and also takes a singular verb. So it is many a boy gives me money. Many a boy gives me money. Even though the many a boy means many boys, notionally, the many a boy means many boys. Because of this structure and because of the rule of concord, it says many a boy, then you have what? You have singular. Many a boy gives me money. Then the final rule I'm going to give you subject-verb agreements is what I call, let me say the penultimate. We have the proximity concord. Proximity concord. That's, when you hear proximity, that's talking about nearness. Proximity. That's it. We can have a string of subjects or a string of subject items, right? A string of subject items. So from those items, it is the item, the subject item that is nearest to the verb that determines your verb. That's what called proximity concord. Now, proximity concord, they are words or some conjunctions, the correlative conjunctions. We have conjunctions that help us to to obey this rule very, very well. For instance, we have the or, we have the neither nor, we have the either or, we have the not only but, not only but. When you have this, look at this, these words. We have the or, we have the neither nor, we have the either, or we have the not only but. When you have this, the rule says the item or the noun closest, nearest to the position of the verb. That's what determines your word. That's what determines your verb, whether it will be singular or plural. That is, if the noun closest to the verb is plural, use a plural verb. If the verb closest to if the noun closest to your verb is singular, use a singular verb. What am I saying? I'm saying, look at this sentence. Neither Shola, Tolu, Tade, the 7 boys, nor Toby, dash the award, dash the award, dash the award. Neither Shola, Tolu, Tade, the 7 boys, nor Toby, dash the award. The rule says you are going to consider only the noun closest to the verb to determine your verb. So what's the noun closest to the verb here? Toby. So that means Toby determines our verb, not the ones mentioned before. So when we have neither Shola, Tolu, Tade, the 7 boys, count all of them off, count them away, and only focus on Toby, which is singular. So it means you're going to use the word, a singular verb here. That means you say neither Shola, Tolu, Tade, the 7 boys, nor Toby deserves their word. Deserves, not deserve. That would be wrong because you have not followed the rule of proximity. You have not followed the rule of proximity concord. So Toby deserves the award. Please don't let them confuse you. They might give you even longer subject items more than this one. Look at this also. Hey, they often give you something like this. Either the children or I dash to eat the food. To eat the food. And then you have options like is, her. What would your answer be? This is proximity concord, don't forget. We have either the children or I dash to eat the food. And you have is, you have you have her. What would your answer be? Remember what we said about proximity concord. You consider the subject item that is closest to the position of the verb. That is I, right? Then, if I is singular or plural, that determines your verb. Here we have I. You might want to say is, but do you say I is to eat the food? No, the auxiliary verb that goes with I is am. So your answer will be either the children or I am to eat the food. Not is, please, not is. Though both is and am are singular verbs, but am goes well with I. If this had been he, then is would be correct. But because it is I, you don't say I is to eat the food. You don't do that. You say I am to eat the food. I am to eat the food. So that is that about that. We have used the subjects, the subject items closest to the verb to determine our verb here. Oh my God! As I'm giving you some rules, other rules are just coming up, and I'll feel guilty if I don't tell you about this too. We have this rule about considering the first subjects. I'll give you. I hope you wrote down those things those conjunctions I gave earlier. There's this other rule that also confuses people, but once you get it now, you've got it and you can move. Okay, it's a rule about additional information. For instance, you can have a subject and you can have an additional piece of information with that subject. But don't let that confuse you. You only have to focus on the subject, neglecting that additional information, and that will determine your verb. What do I mean by that? Look at this. Look at this. And there are some conjunctions that show us this. We have together with, we have together with, together with, we have with, we have as well as. So basically, these three, when you use them with subjects, you consider the first subject. What do I mean? The presidents, the presidents, together with five senators, dash around, dash around. The president, together with five senators, dash around. Now, our focus subject is the president, while together with five sentences, they are just additional information. That one doesn't concern you. The subject is what concerns us, which is the president. So this takes a singular verb because the president is singular. You have the president together with five senators is around. Please don't make that mistake. It might be together with or as well as. Just use a singular verb. Once you know that the first subject here, which is our main focus, is singular, you use a singular verb. That's basically that about that. And another aspect of this additional information is regarding the use of an article after another subject, right? Because we can have what we call a compound subject, that involves two subjects or two subject items. For instance, you can have this. You can have this. Mr. Kola and English teacher dash students. That students so much. Now, Mr. Kola and English teacher dash students so much. If I ask you what verb would we use, you might be tempted to say we would use a plural verb. Why? Because you have seen and joining Mr. Kola and English teacher together. But I want to tell you here that Mr. Kola and English teacher here, they represent one person. One person. Mr. Kola and English. That means you're saying Mr. Kola and English. We're talking about Mr. Kola is also the English teacher. So we have a singular baby because this and this they are one entity. It's like you're saying rice and beans. That's one food. You understand that? But if this English teacher, if it's having an article here, maybe an article D, right? That means Mr. Kola is different from the English teacher. What I'm saying is we can have something like Mr. Kola and the English teacher. You understand? When you have something like this, Mr. Kola and the English, that means we have Mr. Kola and we also have what? The English teacher. Here, this is a plural subject. This is a compound subject. But here, this is just an additional information to Mr. Kola. Like I saying, Jesus, my savior, or Jesus and savior of the world, right? So you are saying Jesus is the same person. So you use a singular verb. So Mr. Kola and English teacher loves students so much. Mr. Kola, an English teacher, loves students so much. So that's about additional information on all of this. There are several other rules again, but I don't think I have much time. For instance, we have the notional concord that talks about the meaning of something. A subject might mean plural here. In another context, might mean singular. For instance, you can look at there are kind of verbs to use with collective nouns. So this is also about notional concord. But I like you to read that up because of our time. When I come back in the next video, I'll be talking to you about what we call question tags. Now, question tags, I'll be talking to you about question tags. concerning some special rules that you don't normally come about, and they ask you in UTME. So I'll be coming to that, and we'll discuss it in detail. So thank you so much. God bless you. God factor is everything. You can do everything. You can read, you can prepare, you can pray to have success. These are the things you can do, but it's something you cannot do for yourself, and that is giving yourself success or excellence. This is what God can do. So please trust God as you prepare. The Lord bless you. Once again, my name is Oladele. Thank you. Have a very good day.
Be sure to link up with us and message us and seek out our email. Send us messages for further questions and mentorship after you have seen these videos. I'm very happy to say this again, that it's a time for you to move on and succeed. It's a free success project 2025. Bless you everywhere that you are. Again, my name is Emmanuel Aderoju Adeyemo from Creative Minds Concept.